and this is the August meeting of our Beginning Farmer and Rancher subgroup, working group of OCFSN, Oregon Community Food Systems Network. And yeah, just wanted to give you all a little bit of an update of what we got going on. A couple folks have been meeting. Matt and Jeffrey and Rich with Alder Street Consulting have met, and we are planning to relaunch our farm viability subgroup. So that group kind of faltered when we lost Tanya, our amazing expert farm viability person working with the RFBC. She moved on to other work. And so, yeah, it took a little bit to get some more thought leadership in that space, but we've got a team of folks ready to do it. And we're going to be meeting, what was it, every other month, starting in September. The date should be in the notes. What did we decide? 22nd, something like that. And September 24th, Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. We're going to be meeting regularly every 2 months. And this first meeting, kind of kickoff meeting, and we're going to be hearing from Carly Boyer at the American Farmland Trust, who just did a really awesome research study on farm viability and indicators. And so that's in farm indicators. So she's going to present on that at the group, and then we're going to kind of launch that effort. That group is going to be, we got a plan for the year. We're going to kind of do a cycle of different meetings, a presentation meeting, a kind of more challenge clinic, helping one organization or program deal with a specific challenge, and then some more collaborative programming discussions to help y'all build your farm viability, your business training programming. And yeah, so that's starting back up again. I'm really happy that we got some good energy in there for folks. So yeah, any questions or additions? Matt, you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it. Thanks, Andrew.
Sweet. Second on the agenda is our BFR map that I've been working on for far too long, is ready to be shared. And I'm happy to get it out there. So I'm going to share my screen. And if y'all can see that, this is what we got. Some of you are in this picture. And that was our tour of, what was it? What was it, Tegan? Remind me. What was that farm?
Sunbow.
Sunbow. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Corvallis,
just in
yeah.
Philomath area.
Yeah, Philomath. And yeah, so this is what we got. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one emails with organizations trying to get their information. So we don't have all the organizations that provide beginning farmer and rancher resources, training, anything really. But we have a good amount. I think we've got like 22 or something different organizations on here. And it starts off with statewide orgs. And it took me a while to get the logos to all look good, but I think I got it pretty solid. And yeah, we'll just pick one, and you click on it, and you can go through. It gives all the descriptions of everything that y'all got going on. And then so we got all that, and you scroll down, and we got the regional orgs that are the map shows exactly where their service in the general area of their service area. And yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. Any comments or thoughts or edits? If you have specific edits you want to your section or anything like that, email me and I'll make those edits. No problem. Quite easy. And yeah, looking forward to getting this out there. And so I think we can share it. The links right here. And yeah, we can share that out. Any thoughts?
Yay,
Yeah.
Andrew. Yeah, I just want to give a big applause for bringing it to its next phase. And for those who are newer to this group or may not know the history, this is one of the products that this collaboration, one of the outcomes of this working group and the collaboration. And it started at a very like rudimentary, like when we had early kind of like mapping stages. So has been evolving with the technology. And I really just want to celebrate that. I think this is a brilliant illustration and a really useful resource for how this collaboration works. And the goal, right, is that this can be farmer facing. We can share it with people, but also that we use this as a tool ourselves because it can be hard to continue to track all the amazing work that we are all doing across the state. Or, for example, when I'm working with a farmer or rancher, knowing how best to refer them or connect them. And so this has really been helpful for me in grounding that and then also illustrating the web of support that we have and the kind of resources.
And this will be ongoing. I have this maintenance of this project on my work plan, and yeah, there's we need to get more folks on here. We've had some changes to programs that no longer want to be a part, don't offer services. I think programs have changed. So yeah, this will continue to be updated and maintained. And yeah, if you're not up there, fill out the form, and we'll get you on here. And but yeah, Thanks for bearing with me and get this through. The technology is pretty straightforward once we got into it. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you so much for moving this forward and getting these updates in here. I think it looks really good. I had a question about where it lives, or does it live yet on the OCFSN website?
This is our like launch, this meeting right here. Like this hasn't
Gotcha.
been published yet. So we'll get it on the website, we'll get it everywhere. I'll send it out to y'all to have the link and everything. But you can link it anywhere. Like it doesn't this link is where it lives. There'll be we can do a screenshot or whatever for folks to click on to go here, but it won't be embedded into I don't think, maybe. No, I don't think we'll embed it. Anyways, this is the link you want to use.
Cool. And so this will kind of replace the other one that's on there.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that one is ready to go away. That one is severely outdated.
And and then so if we want to, we can link to this from our websites and things like that and other
You can
resources.
you can have it directly to here. You don't have to go through OCFSN.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
We'll definitely do that on RFC's page, I'm sure. Definitely
cool.
encourage others that serve beginning farmers to do the same as like as much as we can drive folks to this really awesome resource.
And we do that more, and then maybe more folks will add their stuff to it, so it becomes a usable thing. But I think we got a good cross section of the folks doing this work across the state. I think we got a majority. I have a whole list of folks I'm communicating with to get them on here. Cool, nice. Um, any other thoughts? Chat. Let's see. Going live, that's right. Okay, so and then I wanted to I'll do a follow-up email with the specifics and all that on this, but I wanted to just you all are the first ones that I'm like, this is done, ready to go. I wanted to just do this really quick and just give you an update. So I think I mentioned at our last meeting that we were in advocacy for the disaster resilience grant program that OCFSN manages that y'all have been really engaged in. And the grant did not get renewed. Oh, screen sharing is paused. Can you not see that?
Just as loading.
I hate that. Oh, why does it? Come on. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Let's see here. So, anyways, the grant program was not renewed. So we do not have a next year for the grant program currently. The funding did not get put through the legislative session. So the last 2 years that we've done this are what we have currently for the grant program, and yeah, which it's not great. It's a bummer that these resources are not being continued by the state for these farmers. The part of the what we've been told why is that the um, with all the federal uncertainty, the cuts to Medicaid, the cuts to SNAP, the state really didn't have any, and the uncertainty in the fiscal outlook for the state with all the tariffs and all these different things. really didn't the legislature wasn't able to do just kind of this outside of core functions funding, and so a lot of programs didn't make it through this year. Programs that were already in like agency budgets did things like I think Double Up made it through farm to school, some farm to school stuff. So, but we were, outside of an agency budget, and so it wasn't renewed. So we're not able to continue to offer these grants, which is too bad. And Man, this is annoying me with this slide. There we go. I'm just going to do this really quick, so we're not going to spend a bunch of time on it. So just wanted to give you all an update on that. And also say that we had an amazing 2 years of funding. We awarded $2.4 million to 181 farms across the state. We received over 432 applications and 7.5 million in requests for this program. So the need is definitely out there, really big need. Third, we're covered. We awarded grants all over the state, and I wanted to share y'all. This is something I think you'll be interested in. And I may have shared this before, but this is the all the locations of all the farms across the state that were awarded grants. And yeah, it's I think we made a really big impact. We're in the reporting phase now, getting reports done, farmers finishing their projects and reporting out of what they've done. Yeah, so just giving you all an update on that, and thank you again for here's some of the demographic data for who we uh, supported with this funding. But yeah, just want a huge thanks to you all for getting the word out there and sharing the details and the opportunity with the your networks of farmers. So, and again, big cohort of these farms were beginning farms under their first 10 years. Cool. So yeah, any questions or thoughts on the grant program?
Andrew, I might just share a thought that might be useful for others. I know that I'll be talking about this a little bit later, but we're actually looking to some of the data that was pulled from this, some of the requests, some of the projects to inform other grant opportunities and projects. And so Andrew's really great if you reach out to him and say, hey, can I get this bit of information from these applications, or would it be possible to get a summary of X? And so hopefully this work will extend beyond and inform other funding and projects. So thank you, Andrew, for always being responsive to those requests,
Yeah.
especially as we look at various parts of the state. It's really helpful.
Yeah, as a resource, for you all, we have this huge list of farms, and yeah, reach out if you have thoughts, questions, want some data, whatever. We can work something out. Can't share like real specific stuff with folks, but some generalized information. So yeah, next on the agenda for OCFSN stuff is November 5th through 7th. We are having our full network convening on the coast, Salishan Resort, outside of Lincoln City. The next month, we'll be sending out registration for folks to register and join. It's going to be big, at least 150 folks, probably more. There's going to be probably limits to member organizations of how many folks can come from each organization. Our network has grown. So, but we're really excited to get folks out there, and we will have some dedicated space to this working group. And, we just wanted to throw out the opportunity to share any like things, burning desires folks want to do or cover in that when we're together in that space. And this is going to be replacing our working group convening for the year. So we're going to have this opportunity to meet at that point. And so, yeah, any kind of like big picture desires or needs, I want to just open it up to the group now to be able to share that. And we'll be communicating as it gets closer, then we dial in the content. But I figured I had a captured audience at this moment to share. Um, and if that's too much to think about right now, it's hard to say. You can always send me an email or some thoughts on that later. What do y'all think? Y'all gonna try to be there? Head nods. Cool. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. We're getting into all the details. We have about an hour and a half. And I don't want to go into just like kind of our normal. We could do some like, reporting out. We've done this in several years, like from projects that folks are doing. But I do want to really utilize the time we're in the space together to, keep building those connections and start being creative about programming. I think that's really how we're successful is how we can continue to develop collaborative programming. And so I want to spend a lot of time on that. Yeah, any suggestions or thoughts? I'll leave it out there one last time and then we can move on.
Uh, I'll pipe in here, Andrew, and just say I like the idea that you threw out there of trying to focus on what we can do as far as collaborations. And I know there's a lot of existing collaborations out there. So and then there's always potential for new ones. And so I don't know, one idea is to kind of like do sort of an open space format where, there's some amount of at the beginning sort of opportunity for people to um, state, I want to talk about this, and I'll be over at this table, and then people kind of join where they want to join and talk about, see what happens from there. I'm sure there's other ways to format it, but just one thought.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of successful at the last one we did, where at the end of the day, we had you all like really dialed in on farm viability for a while there. We had those ta the wall stuff where people were sharing programs and then gave the suggestions. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Okay. I see Tara is unmuted.
Yeah, thanks. I was just thinking that like an in-person meeting is always a good time to talk about big ideas that maybe haven't been launched yet, or rather than kind of sharing about what we're already working on together. Like see
Yeah.
what interest there is from others in the network to work on these big ideas that we all have and kind of start launching things maybe.
Yeah, I remember in our first one we did at Chemeketa several years ago, Alice really had this like capital access kind of directory idea that's really spawned into like their RFSP, the CAF project, and the resource library that they've done. That's has been successful in past ones.
One thought, it's premature formation, but thinking about that, we are looking really at the state and acknowledging that there's areas of the state that just really are not as served as others. And so I always like to think about how this working group could potentially leverage some of the expertise and programs we have to maybe move those into parts of the state where we don't have people on the ground. And so I think with that is identifying, aspects of our individual work where we kind of think we could take it on the road in some way or another with support. Because I see that could be a collaboration that this group could help kind of sponsor is creating sort of a suite of on the road services potentially. Not to add a new thing, but
No,
sort
that's
of
great.
something
No,
that
that's
we're
a cool idea.
already doing, but like what can we share with each other ultimately in our regions? And
Nice. Cool. That's helpful. That's a good start. Thanks for that. And we're gonna have some nice workshops and some interesting plenaries. Like it's gonna be great to be in the network with all in sp the space with the full network folks doing, procurement, food hub stuff, Veggie RX stuff, all the different things that cross over the work that you all are doing or support the farmers that you all are working with and more other ways. Oregon Farm to Institution Collaborative. We're currently in negotiations with the Oregon Farms to Institutional Collaborative to become a new working group of OCFSN. So there's that's moving around. It's not finalized yet, but yeah, things are happening. We're still moving regardless of the headwinds that we're facing. And I know y'all are experiencing that in your programming and your funding. So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in your work. We'll open it up to you all. I got a couple things here on the agenda. I'm just going to start since I'm talking right now, and the folks. Well, I guess Sarah, you're here, but whoops. Um, the pathways to farming at Oregon Food Bank. Uh, what I was asked by Adriana to share that that program is changing, and that there's not gonna be a new cohort of like with the same training and all that and moving into the future, so that they're not being added to our BFR map. And yeah, pathways is changing to a different thing. If you do you have anything you want to add to that? No, that's fine.
Yeah, like you probably know as much as I do at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's I think they're supporting the current farmers there and there's going to be some changes, but just so you all know, those folks in the metro area that programming is I guess sunsetting in a way. It's not really super publicized, but Adriana said that we could share it with this group. So that's one update. Why don't we just I've got Tegan on here sharing about some stuff. Small
Is
Farm
it do are
Conference
okay,
and
okay.
your programming, anything. It's I'm handing you the mic.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, just speaking of collaborations and kind of statewide audience, so the Small Farms Conference is scheduled for Saturday, February 21st. And we are opening up a request for presentations. It's going to come out September 1st. So if anybody is interested in submitting a presentation or a session at Small Farms Conference, then there's that process. It'll be an online submission, nothing too complicated or time consuming at all, but to share your idea. And that requests for presentations or proposals will close on October 15th. And then how it works is the statewide team comes together and we review all the sessions ideas and themes and create tracks. And so we'll be notifying people by November 1st. If those sessions would be happening. And we do need to share that this year space is highly limited for additional sessions. And every year as the conference grows, this becomes more of an issue. So a part of the request for presentations is also this, acknowledgement of, hey, would you be interested in collaborating on this idea or this session in other ways throughout the year? And so part of entering in that process is that then we can collaborate with the statewide team and think about how we might be able to move that forward in a standalone session or some other way. So I'll stop and just see if there's any questions or if anybody's kind of new to what Small Farms Conference is. Let me know and I can share a little bit about it. We tend to get about 1,000 people. It is held in Corvallis on campus and does attract a statewide audience. The demographics are also pretty varied in terms of experience and number of years farming and production methods. And so it's kind of all encompassing in terms of the kinds of topics. We do try to be really responsive to emerging needs or themes for farmers for that year, which is why often October is sort of when we're pulling together the various tracks. Yeah. Okay.
Super helpful. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you'll share it with the listserv, the request. Yep.
Yep. Yep. As soon as that comes out this year. And yeah, and I have some other updates on funding stuff, but
Oh, go for it. You can just do
I can
yours.
pause.
No, go for it.
Okay, so as we all know, the BFRDP, the Beginner Farmer Rancher Development Grant, still has not been released. So our team is actually currently in the process of putting together an application for the AFRI, which is the Agriculture and Food Research Initiative. It's another federal grant that has kind of some similarities, although it does have a strong research component. And our focus this year for both that and when the BFRDP opens is around irrigation scheduling, irrigation efficiency, and water, specifically looking at trying to increase skills and confidence around the tools for irrigation, like soil moisture sensors and readers, as well as some research components that would really be around identifying thresholds for various crops so that we can hone in and really understand how much water is necessary for successful growth. Now, so the way that AFRI and BFRDP work, because they're both federal grants, you can apply for both. And so I think our applications will be similar if the BFRDP opens. But if we were to be awarded the AFRI grant, we would then just remove our application from the BFRDP because we can't be awarded both. So we'll just see how that plays out, but we're hopeful that one of them would work. And the way that we envision partnerships and supporting all of you through this funding is writing in budget lines around basically taking this programming. There'll be a train the trainer component, and we're hoping to have stipends and to be able to actually compensate trainers to come and participate in that program, both travel stipends and other ways, which would be funding to organizations, as well as funding for then organizations to be able to implement this programming themselves. So that's how we're hoping to kind of get some flexible funding to then get out into your various organizations in ways that make sense around this topic. So I know I have connected with some of you already, but we'll be looking for letters of support for this. And then the flip side of that, any of you applying for any funding, we have a statewide small farms coordinator, Nate Stacy, and he is very happy to write letters of support. And so please do reach out to us for your various projects so that we can get those letters of support to you. And also if we can give a nod to various work. So once we have our narrative for these application ready, we can share that so that you can say, yes, that's directly connected to something I'm doing, or yes, let's please figure out like how to integrate our work. Heidi, is there anything you would add to either of that?
Oh, hold on. I think that is a good summary of what is happening with all the moisture sensors. And the one thing, like with the train the trainers too, is that, yeah, support for farmers on using these and getting feedback from farmers that are already using them to like what works well, what are challenges, to make sure that we're not developing or doing something that isn't going to be useful. So. And with the new water law, I think, yeah, this is an important topic too.
Oh, thank you so much, Heidi. Yeah, that's a key component of the application is to be updating any publications or any resources that are out there that would be impacted by the new water law. And so that would be a piece too where there may be opportunity for, taking some of these funds and having other organizations support some of that process or figuring out, where that information lives. And we're hoping that is a compelling piece of the narrative for water and Oregon.
Nice. Yeah, that's for folks, the domestic well exemption for farm sales, new water law. Big impact on our small farm community. Great. Awesome. Thanks for that. Small farms team. So glad you're here. Thanks for helping out the orgs with those stipends and support. Anyone else got anything that they're working on that they want to share with the group? Things that they're scheming up, ways that they're helping weather this change in funding landscapes. Patrick.
Yeah, I guess maybe just going off of Tegan's conference announcements too. I suppose the Oregon Farm to School Network every 2 years does a farm to school conference. So that'll be taking place in the end of January, the 29th and 30th of 2026, which is great. But one of the things that we've been sort of scheming about or cooking up the Oregon Farm to School Network is some sort of, and sort of in collaboration with ODA as well, is some sort of perhaps leading up to the conference or as a follow-up for that, a program or series specifically oriented towards producers to help them sort of move towards preparation for school markets or other institutional markets as well. This would be not exclusive to beginning farmers and ranchers, but existing growers as well. But just in the course of my work, a lot of the small farms that I work with are, first generation farmers and are very interested in school sales and other institutional sales too. So we're trying to look around how to best organize some sort of information or educational series around the context of the conference. Yeah, doing that with some overlap also with school buyers, trying to help them understand how farms work, and how seasonality and crop planning can also affect and impact the way in which people develop their procurement or purchasing strategies too. So I guess that's kind of the brief thing there. Yeah, I'll drop the conference details in the chat.
Thanks. Cool, Tara.
Yeah, I guess really quickly to jump off of what Patrick said too, and Sam, feel free to jump in here. But I know Lindsay at Food Roots is trying to develop a contract that's easier for producers to use for institutional markets. I don't know if you've been in touch with her. And we were thinking about doing some sort of event to get producers to kind of give feedback on that contract language and potentially be able to use it. So it'd be great to talk with you offline a little bit or now. um, I'll put my contact info in the chat, Patrick, and then we can touch base.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's
Okay.
those contracts rhetoric is a thing I've definitely been bouncing around for a
Yeah.
while. So I'd love to collaborate with them.
Sam, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that since that's Food Roots work, really. Okay. I also wanted to say that Oat is going on the road with our business plans and basic farm financials workshops this fall and winter. So, starting September 8th in Hood River, Phoebe will be at the Roseburg one on October 16th, and then October 30th in Coos Bay, November 4th in Tillamook, November 5th in Clatskanie, and then potentially adding one in early, like January, February in Brookings as well. So, and then we have some other ones on navigating farm succession across the state, but that's less relevant to beginning farmers and ranchers. But check out our events page for any updates to that too. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Henry.
Yeah. So one thing to announce. So in addition to kind of our ongoing one-on-one business coaching, like we're doing a little more focus on kind of getting support out and just general information on our lending side and just getting access to capital. So kind of being a little more diligent and dedicating some resources there. So one of the things that we have coming up, which will be short notice. So I'm sure everyone's heard with the Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Centers, they're going to be shutting down in September, but we're trying to get a workshop out before that cutoff date with the right size investing team. So we're doing the plan is to do like a farm lending workshop or loan readiness training, which will be either September 8th or September 9th. And then the next day would be one-on-one sessions. So we'll have like 4 of our loan officers available to do one-on-one sessions with anyone that's interested. They'll be able to sign up and just talk about their needs and really have a kind of that in-depth discussion on needs and options on financing with one of our loan officers. So once the team's kind of working on the kind of invoicing and approval, so it'll be short notice, but I'm pretty sure those will be the dates. And Andrew, I don't know what would be the best way to get that information out.
Yeah, if you, I don't think you're on the list, but if Maya wants to put it out on the listserv, that's always a great way to get all the folks in the network.
Okay.
Or you can send it to me and Andrew at OCFSN.org, and I can get it out there. And what were the dates again?
So it's the workshop will either be September 8th or September 9th, and then the next day would be the one-on-one sessions. So basically, when we send out like the blurb, it'll have like a short registration link. It'll just be like a Zoom with, email, business name, and I think location will be the three pieces we'll ask for. And then we'll also have like a Calendly scheduler that will allow people to also go ahead and sign up for some one-on-one sessions. So I think
Nice.
we should have availability for about 20 sessions at whatever the following day of the workshop is. But I'm
Great.
going to try
Yeah.
to get that information finalized this week with the Food Business Center team to see if we can at least go ahead and start doing outreach for it.
Nice. Yeah, just send me the details and I'll get it to the list and yeah, we'll get it. We'll
Okay.
get the
Yeah,
word
I'll
out.
probably do
We'll
that
help you
because
get the word
Maya's
out.
out. Yeah, Maya's out on vacation this week, so I'll email
Cool.
you, Andrew.
Thanks. Awesome. Heidi.
Great. Thanks, Andrew. And Henry, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm, yeah, really grateful that you're joining us in the meeting today. So September 10th is like just after you're having those trainings. That's Small Farm School in Oregon City, and I will send the link right there. So that's a full day. Many of you have been there before, tabled, have been presenters. So we have 35 different workshops that day. And then there's an after part or continuing the conversation and the orchard after the event. I think we're about 2/3 full on registration. So yeah, have a look. If you have any questions, reach out to me. We're doing a sliding scale for registration this year. And if there's any barriers, like cost is any barrier for registration, reach out and we can provide a code because we want to make sure everybody who wants to come is able.
Yeah.
Hey Heidi, do you have like a social media package or something that we can promote? Because we haven't done that yet. Me
Yes,
being my
I will send you the email with the image, the social
Yeah,
media image.
cool. Thank you.
Cool. Nice.
I have a quick add-on to what Henry was saying. Also trying to get through these RFBC funds before they expire. Um, the RFBC has opened up a contract with Taste the Local Difference, which is a small local foods marketing firm. So if there are small farmers that want marketing assistance, I think there's 2 or 3 spots available. So I'm not sure it's worth putting a whole blast out there, but if you know a farmer who wants to learn e-commerce or email marketing or build like a very simple one-page website, um, there's like 3 spots available. They just need to get in touch with me. They do have to do the RFBC application, but with this contract, they don't have to go through the reimbursement process. So RFBC is reimbursing Taste the Local Difference directly, which eliminates that need for the farmers. But it's a $2,000 scholarship. And the only problem is all of the work has to be done by September 15th. So it's kind of typical USDA, like let's make it hard for farmers exactly when they don't want it to be any harder. But if you do know someone who needs these, let me know and I can connect them directly to the right resources.
Nice. Good stuff happening. Tara.
I wanted to ask Matt, I know last time you mentioned that Jeffrey was working on a QuickBooks session, and that's something we've heard. When I was talking to the farmers out on the coast about our farm financials workshop, some of them requested more in-depth training on QuickBooks. So I was wondering if you all are launching that soon, and if not, and if you're not available to do that on the coast, I'm wondering like I know some of the small business development centers can offer that, but what you were seeing with like limitations and what they offer, and yeah, just more questions about that.
Yeah. Thanks, Tara. Yeah, I think that we won't be launching that probably until the winter, probably January or afterwards.
Mhm.
As I think what we've talked about so far is a webinar,
Okay.
although we could, I think, in the future after that, refine it into in person and, propose it to do at like small farm school and places like that. And the way we've talked about it is very introductory, sort of, here's why to use a bookkeeping system, why it's important, some of the basic intros to a chart of accounts, and then really as a feeder into some technical assistance with Jeffrey to help people get set up with QuickBooks initially, get a good chart of accounts for their business, and then understand how to use it on a very basic record keeping level
Mhm.
so that they're able to develop financial statements and apply for grants and loans and understand their business better. So I can't speak to the SBDC question. I think Jeffrey maybe could, but yeah, I'm sure you could just reach out to him, or I could reach out to him and get back to you on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and happy to chat more with you, Tara. Just one on one or whatever with Jeffrey, as to make sure that we're covering the needs. To
Mhm. Thanks, Matt.
yeah.
You want to keep rolling, Matt? You got other stuff?
Oh yeah, so I was wanting to just mention a couple things coming up in the fall for Rogue Farm Core. Not quite live yet, but soon we'll have applications for our Farm Launch Business Planning program. So I think applications usually open up around, I want to say early September. So keep an eye out for that. It is a 6-month online business planning cohort for 15 beginning farm businesses who are either pre-launch or soon after they have launched it within the first few years, typically. And the main goal is to help them develop a draft business plan, a complete and thorough draft business plan, and they get a lot of other skills along the way as well. And it's 1.5 hours once a week from October through March. And it's with Jeffrey Van, our Future Farms program director, and then he brings in some guest presenters, but a lot of it is just with him. And we've had a lot of great success with folks completing business plans over the last few years. Throughout that session, they actually get time in the session to work on their business plans, so they don't have to do homework outside the sessions, and then they get peer feedback on them and discussions about what they're putting in them with their peers and things like that. So anyway, once that outreach is available, I'll definitely shoot it out to the listserv here, and please do share it with all of your beginning farmers that you know. And then the other one is that we are going to be, as we always do in the fall, host farm apprenticeship host farm outreach. So for our apprenticeship program, farm businesses that are established and want to host an apprentice or two or three can apply to do that in the fall. I think applications will probably be open mid-September to late September and then closing around beginning of November. Um, and really specifically, we are looking to connect with more BIPOC-led host farms around the state, and also just generally more farms in Southern Oregon. So those are some of our priorities, but I think we're probably open to any applications as well. But I think we'll probably have a lot of continuing host farms, so there is some like capacity limitations there as well. So those are our two big ones. Announcement wise, and then we are working closely with Friends of Family Farmers on a BFRDP application planning. Hopefully that gets released and we can actually apply to continue the land and capital access work for beginning farmers that has been. We have in our current BFRDP, which expires in September, that's the transitioning Oregon's farmland work with OAT and FOF. So can talk more about that if folks want, but yeah, I think maybe that's enough for now. And if folks have questions about any of that, happy to answer.
I actually had a thought because I don't know if we've actually talked about like getting a letter of support from this working group for grants. I don't know what the kind of
Yeah, we can do
nuance or
that.
limitations of that, but okay. Yeah, it just seems like it couldn't hurt
We've done
you
it.
know, although okay.
Yeah, always happy to offer OCFSN letters of support, similar to what you mentioned with Nate offering that. I think we can do that too. I think, as much lead time as possible. If there's, depends on the need. Like if it's kind of just like, hey, we really supported this program. These great people are great. That's pretty easy. If there's like some matching request or something else, there's a little bit more time needed for that. If you want some of my time or working group time to support something like that, we can that's not a no, but we just need to have time to talk that through. So waiting till the week before is difficult in that circumstance. Which I've done plenty of those the week before, so we can figure it out, but try to avoid that. But yeah, we're here to support y'all. That's the whole point. We write lots of letters of support. Thanks for bringing that up, Tegan. What else is happening? Is that good?
I can jump in real quick.
Great.
Bach is going to be teaching a lease course at Small Farm School, focused on obviously farmland leasing and equitable contract development. And then I should also just say real quick, I'm relatively new to this role, but we are back up to capacity for navigators for the Navigate program. We're actually getting quite a few applications over the last month. There's been actually a pretty noticeable uptick in applications. Which is exciting, but yeah, I'm wondering why exactly that's happening. But yeah, so Sylvia and I are both relatively close to capacity, and that's going really well. So yeah, I think that's
From all
everything.
over the state, people are applying, or like
It's
where?
mostly Valley
Yeah,
applicants. Yeah.
but all up and down the valley. Is it Southern Valley? Like,
Yeah, pretty well spread. Several coastal applications, mostly Central Coast. But yeah, I mean, I'm in Central Oregon and keep hoping that I'll be able to work with some Central Oregon farmers. But there's a few of them, but not a lot of new ones yet. So
cool. Good work, everybody. I think this is helpful, hearing what folks are doing, ask some questions, reach out to each other for support. Any takers for any updates? If not, our next meeting is going to be after the November 5th through 7th convening. I was like, oh, we'll just not do it. But I actually think it's a good idea to do it. And I changed my mind. And we can do some follow-up from what we did in the convening. So our next meeting is November 20 something or other. Sorry, I'll get that in the notes. And November 20th. And yeah, appreciate y'all for being here. Thanks for taking the time to share with each other and connect for a bit. And we'll see each other in person in November. Right on.
Thanks, everyone.
Later.
Thanks, Andrew.
thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.